The rumor is not just circulating, it is screaming across the league. Kim Hye-seong is an imminent trade casualty for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team ruthlessly prioritizing immediate impact over long-term potential, especially following their aggressive acquisition of high-leverage arms like Edwin Diaz. But sources inside the club complex suggest this isn't a simple salary dump or a performance-based reaction to his struggles. The truth is far more calculated, and it involves exploiting a very narrow market window to land the final, crucial piece for a World Series run. A truth that makes KHS less of a failure and more of a valuable, unexpected currency. Welcome to 609 True News, where we dismantle the rumors brick by brick and look past the box scores. If you're wondering how a player with such palpable, raw potential could be treated like damaged goods after logging what amounts to a rounding error, a mere 170 Major League at-bats, you've come to the right place to understand the brutal economics of championship baseball. The entire trade debate, as we see it playing out in the media, centers around a fundamental disagreement. Has Kim Hye-seong been given enough opportunity to succeed, or is this the ruthless cost of playing for a perennial contender? The traditionalists, represented by viewpoints like those articulated by Dodgers Way analysts, are vehemently opposed to the trade, arguing that moving him now is the textbook definition of selling low. You don't evaluate a 26-year-old international signing with demonstrated defensive upside after just 170 plate appearances, argues veteran scout and analyst Marcus Velez. That is developmental malpractice. His rookie season showed potential flashes. .280 batting average before the severe late-season slump, and critically, his contact rate stability was excellent. He has the raw power, and the metrics show a consistently favorable launch angle upon contact. He simply hasn't had the repetitive exposure needed to normalize his plate discipline against high-velocity breaking stuff. They point out the undeniable fact that KHS is approaching his peak age of 27, but has only accumulated 1/3 of a full season's worth of plate appearances in the majors. To trade him now, before granting him the sustained 400-plus AB season necessary to truly adjust, is to throw away the $5 million investment for pennies on the dollar. But let's face the harsh reality brought forth by the opposing camp. The pragmatists and the decision-makers who have to manage the payroll and the roster spot. This counter-argument isn't about hope, it's about cold, hard, late-season statistics. Talk about .280 all you want, snarls one prominent West Coast sports radio host, who we'll call the closer. But the reality is that KHS finished the season in a state of catastrophic decline. Once the book was written on him, that he couldn't handle the depth and bite of off-speed pitches low in the zone, his numbers plummeted. From July onwards, his batting average sank below .190, and more damningly, his strikeout rate ballooned past 40% with runners in scoring position. He was lost. You call 170 ABs too few? When the results are that devastating, showing an absolute inability to adjust over a 3-month span? That's more than enough data to make a cut-loss decision. The traditional utility argument that KHS can cover shortstop, second, and third base is also being ruthlessly picked apart internally. While his glove at second base is exceptional, his defensive metrics elsewhere are mediocre, making him less of a true multi-positional asset and more of a luxury second baseman, a position the Dodgers already have options for. This brings us to the core strategic conflict and the true urgency behind the trade talks. The Dodgers are not focused on KHS's past failures. They are exploiting the league's perception of his future potential. They understand that while they see the alarming post-July tape, other rebuilding teams see the impressive rookie season flashes, the excellent pedigree from international play, and the underlying potential for a 20-homer, 20-steal infielder. KHS represents high-risk, high-reward currency.
The real twist here is that the Dodgers don't need utility depth right now. They need a high-end starting pitcher, a genuine ace, to solidify their rotation for October, and the available pool of such talent is incredibly shallow. The rumor, which is highly credible, is that the Dodgers are attempting to leverage KHS, packaged with a highly rated pitching prospect currently stuck in Double-A, to acquire a veteran starter who can eat innings and dominate in the playoffs.
This isn't a trade because KHS failed. It's a trade because his inherent untapped potential is valued higher by a seller desperate for immediate relief and future upside than his actual current utility is to the cash-rich Dodgers. It's an agonizing calculation. Sacrifice the slim chance that KHS blossoms into a star for the near certainty that this veteran starter delivers a World Series title. Imagine the pressure on KHS himself, fighting for every single plate appearance, feeling the clock tick down on his major league career, knowing that management is viewing him not as a player but as an asset whose value is decreasing daily, like a perishable commodity. He is fighting the reputation of being a quad A player, too good for the minors but not quite good enough to stick in the majors, a narrative that is incredibly difficult to shake, especially when playing for a team that has zero tolerance for learning curves. The trade talks are escalating because the window to acquire this target ace is closing rapidly, and KHS is the single most attractive piece they can offer without gutting their top-tier pitching farm. The irony is excruciating. If KHS stays and receives consistent playing time, say 500 ABs next season, and performs at just 80% of his potential, the Dodgers will look utterly foolish for discarding him. But the Dodgers are willing to absorb that public criticism and future regret for the chance to hoist the trophy now. It's the ultimate example of a win-now mentality trumping long-term player development. This isn't a trade based on regret, it's a cold, brilliant, strategic sacrifice designed purely to maximize their current championship odds. The moment the market for their target player closes, KHS's trade value, that fleeting potential based on hope rather than results, drops back to zero. They have to move him, and they have to move him now. So the next time you see the headlines lamenting a lost prospect or a cheap exit, remember the true machinery at work.
Kim Hye-seong is a highly rated chip being exchanged not because the Dodgers have given up on him, but because they have zeroed in on a critical, irreplaceable piece that only his particular blend of perceived value and international profile can secure. Don't let this story end here. Hit that like button, share this deep dive with fellow fans, and subscribe to 609 True News for more unfiltered baseball analysis. And now the big question. Given the Dodgers' relentless pursuit of the World Series, was trading a high upside but inconsistent player like Kim Hye-seong the right strategic move for immediate glory, or should they have invested one more season in developing his clear potential? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.